Hi, I'm Chuck Champlin. I'm the author of the book Think Like a Molecule. I'm a journalist and a communications manager. I worked for the Walt Disney Company for 12 years, but I'm retired now and was able to take the time to write this book.
Well, we're going to head off to Ellis Lake in Marysville, which is just across the Feather River from Yuba City, and sail my little sailboat over there. And might even stop at a coffee shop over in Marysville. There's a great little place called The Brick, which is very much a go-to little coffee shop in town there. Well, my wife Leslie has a beautiful daughter named Tamsin, and she married a local walnut farmer named Chris Fedora. And so we had lived, Leslie and I met in Los Angeles, but we decided to move up here.
Could have gone in at the launching ramp.
That's true.
A little bit easier to set up than your Hobie cat.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Hey, you know what? You could put a little lure behind that and some string. Catch some fish maybe.
One thing I've never been really clear about is how far away the boat will go. Oh, here comes a good breeze there.
You know, this lake was built during the Depression.
Well, oh, was it? Okay. Project Administration, WPA, yeah.
I think there might be some of the, might be a little plaque somewhere.
Oh, yeah. Out the ducks. All right, we're going to bring her back. I'm afraid we're going to get a loser from the, there we go. Boy, that's great.
You
Pretty good. All right, Bob, a good day on the lake. I think one of the reasons that I wanted to do this sailing is, to me, you know, the point of the wind on the sail is just another issue to do with a twinkle, you know.
The idea of the twinkle is that you have a center define an idea that you're trying to understand, and so all of these different lines represent different dimensions or different aspects of the meaning that you're trying to explain.
Being here in Marysville and thinking about Mary Kovalode, who was the founder of this place. Kovalode, yeah, what an incredible thing! You know, I think in the Marysville archives there must be a history of her, and you know, because if she, you know, basically walked away from that Donner Park. Anyway, I'm just delighted to be here in Marysville and delighted to talk to you guys. I've been a writer most of my life, and I was in journalism. I worked for the Los Angeles Times, and then I worked for the Walt Disney Company for 12 years, and that's partly where I got inspired to write this book. But my father worked for Time magazine and Life magazine, so we got moved around a lot, and I called myself a Time Life brat because of the number of places we moved, all the way from New York City to Los Angeles to London, England, back to Los Angeles when he joined the Los Angeles Times. But as a Time Life brat, I saw a lot of the world and had a pretty good time.
Well, I think you learn a certain amount of humility, I think, to realize, you know, how much the Chinese have been teaching us about medicine, about cooking for hundreds of years, and then the migration of cultures across Europe, and then our discovery of America. And I think it's so important that we're learning empathy for other cultures. I hope that can be a moment when we overcome our biases and prejudices and realize that we've got 7 or 8 billion humans on the planet. They all have feelings and hearts like any one of us, and so we just need to get to the point where we have more respect for the human life and for the human insights that other people have, and realize that may be a source of great wisdom if we begin to understand what their perspective is.
There's always a chance that Hollywood might call.
Gambit, which is about a lady that was a superpower at chess, basically. And I think, oh, you did too.
Yeah.
I think the Donner Party was actually before the Gold Rush, I believe.
Third, I think. Yeah.
Something like.
Sam Brannon was that kind of play. He was disowned from the Mormon Church.
Storefronts are, you know, empty.
Salute to that.
Salute,
I must
yeah.
say, yeah,
Yeah.
all right. It's very good, very good. This book is going to change the world, you guys. I mean, really, when you think about how are we going to survive, you know, what we're going to do is think of inspirations, think of ideas.
Well, I think it's, again, it really is about listening to your own process of thinking and then starting to realize that you can structure your ideas, your responses in a way that maybe has some sort of diagram to your thoughts in a way that you can perhaps be more aware of the structure of your thoughts. The way we used to diagram sentences in English classes, it's a sort of taking apart your thoughts and being aware of the high points, the important points that you want to emphasize to yourself, to realize what it is that you're actually thinking, what is it that you're describing to yourself that you want, and being more clear about what that is.
Boy, this is really a mess. Now, oh my God, well, I have to do something with this. Can't go over there. I'm going to have to go there. And you're attacking that, so that would be like a little feint. No, yeah, so you could go, so suddenly you're revealing that attack on the pawn, and you're attacking the queen. You know what I did? By getting you to do that, I tricked you, and now you can...
No, I can't do it.
But now what you could... But I guess you... Let's see, you could go... Yeah, you could go like that.
Well, just tell me where I should go, because then, you see, I'm supposed to be actually playing with you.
Okay, yeah, well, so that guy could go there. And then if you get a knight you could bring out, of course, he can just jump over everybody there.
I would wish that people have a sense that they have something to contribute that is of benefit to humanity. Everybody feels that their idea, maybe it's going to make them money, maybe it's going to help their family, maybe it's going to help their people or their race. I think things that are helpful to people in general is wonderful. So I hope that everybody figures out how to maximize their own potential in being helpful, supportive, and furthering of the health and survivability of the human race. So everybody has a contribution to make, and hopefully it's a contribution that will be helpful, will be a benefit to humanity. As a person who enjoys science, and as a writer and former communications executive with the Walt Disney Company, I take a lot of inspiration from imaginative journeys into realms of the tiny and also out into the cosmos. Our powers of imagination are possibly the most miraculous thing of all. From that, I imagine a molecule of thought, or the twinkle. And to me, this symbolizes both inspiration and the depth and many possible dimensions of an idea, the basis of possible written descriptions. And writing, after all, is one of the very best ways to communicate any idea. I think it's just take that time to sort of admire your own internal process. What I'm inviting people to do is look into their own mental process. We call it metacognition. It's almost like you go stand to the side of yourself and be aware of your own thoughts. That way you perhaps may become aware of prejudices that you may have. You may become more clear about questions that you need to answer for yourself. You just may be thinking more richly and more openly about what your own intuition can create. When you think about Albert Einstein and his insights into the world, all of us have that ability to think more deeply and richly about our own thought process and about the thought process of the world, of people in the world, and perhaps learn to get past our inhibitions, get past our prejudices, get past our fears, and come up with a more wholesome and more richly realized sense of what our own purpose in the world really is. I think one of the things that has been instructive to me about the pandemic, and I think a lot of people have sensed this as well, is that there are surprises that can come at us from the micro world. To find out that the entire world is quaking in the face of this little teensy virus, way too small to be seen, just tells us, thinking like a molecule, there is a lot of energy and a lot of danger potentially in this micro world. So I think that's one of the things that I kind of hope that people are aware about sort of the importance of washing the hands, perhaps, or the possibility that evolutionary changes can happen at any level of life in the world. That's what we're seeing with the pandemic, is this is a virus that perhaps has existed in the animal world, made the transition into the human world, and now this virus, even as it's coursing through the human population, is beginning to evolve in new ways. And so we're seeing new strains, new variants of this virus. So to me, it just tells you about the sort of demonstrates the possibilities of evolution, hopefully creating great things the way our minds have evolved through the 4 billion years of human habitation on the planet, to the point where we can now create great symphonies, great art, make wonderful movies, but that evolution is still able to surprise us and disappoint us with dangers presented to us. So there is sort of a humility that I feel, and an awe I feel about the scope of life on the planet, and frankly the risks to it. Now we can possibly imagine the entirety of human life on the planet being destroyed by some other medical horror show that we can't even begin to imagine now, but we've had some little tastes of it. So I do worry that some other evolutionary step may come and threaten the survival, the possibility of humanity surviving. And I just do hope that we are ready for it, and that our scientists and our public servants are smart enough to be on alert and watching out for the next kind of danger. And of course there are many dangers about in our human civilization with people who just feel that their race is superior to somebody else, and we have to watch out for those kind of poisons that course through our civilization as well. So there are dangers all around. I think and dangers sometimes that we just have gotten barely the slightest hint can come at us sometime in the future. Well, I have always felt that empathy is one of the greatest human skills, and I hope that we can help foster that skill of empathy, where you can feel another person's pain, you can feel their joy, you can feel goodness in yourself if you can encourage somebody else. Mother Teresa, to me, is a great symbol of someone who gave her life essentially to help other people who were less fortunate. So I hope that we as a civilization can develop more empathy, and also realize that that our human civilization has so many positive inventions. When you think about the vaccine against polio back in the 1950s, or even the vaccine against the coronavirus now, doctors and medical technicians and scientists have been working at a fantastic rate to get these kind of new health-giving cures out to the public. And we know that power in our human civilization to develop solutions to problems like that is great, and it may ensure our ability to survive, but who knows, maybe one day it'll require that we then use rockets to go to live on another planet or something, because Earth is not habitable anymore. But that's who knows what kind of workarounds may need to be created at some centuries in the future as Earth itself becomes unlivable. Pretty scary thought to me, but who knows what possibility there is in the human imagination to create new ways that we can prosper in the future. So Authors Press has been really wonderful to offering this process to talk to you and to help illustrate what the book is about. So I think it's been a very moving and emotional process for me to work with Authors Press and with you guys today to understand and help talk about, to me, what I think is a very valuable message in this book, which is that we can use our imagination, our consciousness, our problem-solving ability to come up with solutions that will help the human race survive into the future. My book, Think Like a Molecule, is available wherever books are sold, on Amazon and other places. You can actually search for it on the internet, Think Like a Molecule. It's also available through the Authors Press publisher, my current publisher, Authors Press. So they're searchable on the internet in a number of different ways. And I encourage you to do it because it's something that anybody will find a lot of value in reading, is my belief. Well, I think finally I would really like to express my thanks to a lot of people, my family and my wife, Leslie, who's been so supportive. Just great to be with Bob, who's been another supporter, who's with us today. Authors Press has just been a great company to work with. But I really appreciate the readership and the people who've been providing feedback about the book. It's been very meaningful to me. So again, this is Chuck Champlin. I'm the author of Think Like a Molecule. Thank you all for watching. Really been a pleasure to be able to share this with you. I wish you well, and I wish you insights that can make your life better.